Imagine coming home from a long shift only to find an eviction notice taped right to your front door, or suddenly facing a terrifying domestic violence situation. Now imagine dealing with all of that with absolutely $0 in the bank to hire a lawyer. It is a terrifying reality, and it happens to thousands of people every single day. Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are demystifying the bureaucratic maze of Missouri's legal aid system, and we're going to show you exactly how to access free legal support when you need it most. What's truly staggering here is the sheer scale of what experts call the justice gap. Get this, estimates show that anywhere from 50 to 90% of people facing family or eviction courts are forced to stand before a judge completely unrepresented. That is just an alarming statistic. Navigating the complex legal system entirely alone can literally lead to devastating consequences for your family and your livelihood. But hey, take a breath. There is hope, and there is highly practical help available.
Okay, let's dive right into our roadmap for today so you know exactly what help is on the way. We're looking at the Missouri Justice Gap, checking your eligibility, how and where to apply, alternative free resources, some essential tips and pitfalls, and finally, your next steps.
Section 1. The Missouri Justice Gap. Civil versus criminal.
Before you spend precious time applying, we really need to define the boundaries of what legal aid can actually do for you. The absolute crucial point here is that Missouri's legal aid programs are strictly for civil matters. We're talking housing issues, family law, consumer debt, and public benefits. If you're facing criminal charges, that is handled entirely separately by the state public defender system. So legal aid is here for things like preventing an unfair eviction or securing a protective order. Their funding rules strictly prohibit them from taking on any criminal defense cases.
And honestly, this is exactly why civil legal aid matters so much. It acts as a vital safety net, providing free or reduced cost assistance to vulnerable groups who are facing non-criminal issues. Look, when your basic livelihood is on the line, when you're literally fighting for your home, your physical safety, or your fixed income, civil legal aid steps right in to help level the playing field.
Section 2. Eligibility. Do you qualify?
So let's talk numbers. To qualify for these Legal Services Corporation-funded programs, your household income generally needs to fall at or below 125% of the federal poverty guidelines. To put that into perspective, for a single person, the annual income cap sits at $19,950. For a household of 4, it's $41,250. Now, they will also look at your assets. But here's a huge tip. Even if you're slightly over these limits, please do not count yourself out. Some programs actually have special grants or sliding scales for specific populations, like veterans or the elderly.
Now, it's important to understand that even if you completely meet those income requirements, these nonprofits just don't have the funding to take every single case that comes through the door. They have to perform legal triage, so they focus heavily on critical cases where people are facing extreme emergencies. We are talking about things like a sudden 10-day eviction notice, domestic violence protective orders, or someone who is wrongfully denied life-saving Medicaid or SSI benefits. Basically, the more your basic human needs are threatened, the higher priority your case becomes.
Section 3. How and where to apply.
All right, now that we've covered the rules of the game, let's break down exactly who you actually need to contact in Missouri to get the ball rolling. The state is divided geographically into 4 independent nonprofit organizations. You've got Legal Services of Eastern Missouri, Legal Aid of Western Missouri, Mid-Missouri Legal Services, and Legal Services of Southern Missouri. Your absolute first step is identifying which program serves your specific county. You can't just throw a dart at a map and apply to whichever one you want. You have to use the specific office assigned to where you live or where your case was actually filed.
The intake process follows a very predictable timeline. And honestly, just knowing this upfront can really reduce the stress of applying. First, you'll apply via their high-volume phone line or their online portal. Next up, you'll complete a quick financial screening. From there, staff attorneys will review the actual legal merit of your issue. And finally, they figure out the level of assistance they can offer. Now, that might just be some brief legal advice over the phone, maybe some limited scope coaching, or it could go all the way up to full representation in a courtroom.
Section 4. Alternative free legal resources.
Because those primary programs have limited funding and just can't accept every single applicant, we absolutely must look at the alternative safety nets available to you. There's this incredible concept you really should know about called limited scope representation. What this means is that private attorneys might step in through pro bono projects, and while they might not physically go to court with you, they will sit down, review your self-prepared divorce or housing documents, explain how the court works, and literally coach you for success. It completely empowers you to be a successful self-represented litigant.
And there are plenty of other incredible alternative avenues in Missouri, too. For instance, Missouri Free Legal Answers is a brilliant virtual clinic where you can securely post civil legal questions online and pro bono attorneys will answer them for free. There are also specialized veteran clinics like Military Matters and law school clinics where supervised students at places like Mizzou or St. Louis University provide real help. The takeaway here, if the main legal aid office is full, keep knocking on these other doors.
Section 5. Tips, pitfalls, and preparation.
So, what commonly delays a legal aid application? Well, a major pitfall is simply not having the right information ready when you finally get through on those incredibly busy phone lines. Think about it. If you have to hang up to go dig around for a pay stub, you might lose precious time and have to start the whole process all over again.
To ensure your application moves as quickly as possible, you're going to want to use this checklist. First, have your exact household income and asset documents ready to go. Know the exact details of your household size. But most importantly, if you have already been served with a court summons, have that piece of paper right in front of you when you call. You absolutely must share any exact court dates and the names of who filed the lawsuit against you. Why? Because in eviction or family law cases, the legal clock doesn't just tick, it sprints.
Section 6. Next steps and disclaimer. Let's take a second to look at how all of this translates into real, tangible life changes. Take the story of a single mother right here in Missouri who was facing an illegal eviction. By reaching out to legal aid, a single, strongly worded letter drafted by a pro bono attorney stopped that unfair landlord right in their tracks, and it kept her family safely housed. Having accurate legal information doesn't just help a little bit, it transforms hopelessness into hope. So please do not hesitate to reach out to the resources we've covered today. And finally, we have to cover our crucial disclaimer. Please remember that this explainer is strictly for educational purposes to help you understand the framework of the system. It is absolutely not a substitute for professional legal advice. If you or someone you know needs help, please use the directories and resources we discussed to contact a licensed professional in Missouri. But I'm going to leave you with this one question to think about. In a justice system where representation can cost hundreds of dollars an hour, isn't knowing how to access these free lifelines the absolute most powerful legal tool you can possibly have? Thanks so much for joining me. Stay informed, and I'll catch you on the next one.